In this video, I want to talk about how to depart an airport during low IFR conditions. So in this video, I'm showing the initial departure with low visibility, 3/4 mile, overcast 200, mist, temperature 16, dew point 14. The airport of departure does have an RNAV LPV approach with a decision altitude of 250 feet AGL, 3/4 mile minimum visibility. So this should be taken into consideration in case you have to return to your point of origin. The tower operates between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. So outside of these hours, you have to rely on approach control by Los Angeles Center. You can either get them on frequency, but my origin airport happens to be behind a mountainous terrain. And so when Point Mugu is closed, you have to call on your cell phone. So after you perform the run-up, you call via cell phone, ideally connected to like a Bose A20 headset. If it's not connected to your headset, then you have to hold the cell phone while the engines on the plane are running and write with your other hand the clearance. And you tell them your tail number and your IFR request, and they'll ask you, are you ready to depart now? And, if you've already performed your run-up, you can say, yes, ready to depart. And they'll give you the clearance with the route and the altitudes, the frequency, and the transponder code, but they'll give you a void if not off time. And in this case, I was given, void if not off in 5 minutes, which that only gives you 5 minutes to change your GPS programming. So hopefully the route is not changed and you already have it programmed. In this case, my route was not changed. The only exception was the obstacle departure procedure was added. And so you have to look up the obstacle departure procedure, and it really just adds, a initial climb heading and altitude, and then turning back to the airport VOR to give you additional time to climb up for mountainous terrain. And as you can see, the marine layer is only about 800 feet thick with the tops around 1,000 MSL. And it's important to avoid spatial disorientation during takeoff, and you want to be aware of the cinematographic effects, false horizons, avoid rapid head movement or strong input controls. And once you pop through the clouds, the rest of the night flight is VFR on top. But night VFR is essentially IFR flight, and some countries don't allow VFR pilots to fly at night. So this is a problem because dual nighttime is hard to get, as most flight instructors work during the day, and there's not a large requirement for night flight during the private pilot license. But night flight can be made easier if you train with an instructor, and if you learn to turn down the interior lights, allow your pupils to dilate to the outside, and turn off unnecessary strobes, especially if you're near clouds and the flashing lights, are interfering with your focus. And you do need to focus on your instruments because night flight is essentially instrument flight. But it can be very rewarding because some of the most beautiful flights I've done are night flights. And you watch the sun come up, and the clouds are pink and purple and every color, and it can be very beautiful if you can just mitigate the risks of night flying. And so, the lights, of the horizon are very pretty, and this is a night landing that I'm performing while doing an instrument approach. And the runway lights, can be very spectacular and stimulating to look at as you're coming in doing a night landing. So some airports have a large rabbit that brings you in, and it's easier to see in the clouds, and It's takes a little bit getting used to, landing at night. But if you do all those things, turn down the lights, you can sort of get used to it and become second nature. The more you do it, like anything, practice makes perfect. And so I'm going to do this abrupt transition to day VFR flight, and you're going to see how different it is, how the spatial awareness is so much different, and the visibility and the terrain, instead of just black mountains, you can see the surface features. And this is what we would call severe clear, 10-mile visibility, and no haze or limited visibility at all. And I always like, when I'm coming in on approach, to be able to look over and see my house. And so this is looking over Ventura County in Thousand Oaks, Newberry Park area. And you can see Mount Boney, and just how pretty the terrain is in Southern California. And it's actually very smooth and relaxing, when you're coming in on approach. Just a long final. And then in contrast, you have kind of the farmland, agricultural area in Camarillo and Oxnard. And this particular day, when I came in on approach, it was a little interesting, because I received a request from approach Point Mugu to slow down because I had 5 aircraft in front of me. And so when I first talked to the tower, they said cleared to land, number 5 behind a Cirrus. And a Cirrus is a pretty fast airplane, relative to a Baron. So I really just put the gear down a little bit earlier, just slightly after the initial approach fix, and was able to slow down my ground speed to match the aircraft in front of me. And also, when I was on a 1-mile final, the tower was dealing with 5 aircraft lined up holding, and he cleared an aircraft to take off before me, and he kept kind of prompting him, like, cleared for immediate takeoff. And you can't see this here, but I'm sort of thinking to myself, am I going to go around, or is he going to cancel the takeoff clearance of the airplane in front of me? But fortunately, he was able to be clear of the runway, and I was able to touch down. And I'm smiling here because my ground roll is nice and short, so that I wasn't overtaking the aircraft in front of me, and I gave the departing aircraft as much time as possible. All right, thanks for watching.